study. We want to look at whether wheelchair seating is best, which type of wheelchair seating is best for individuals that spend a lot of time on wheelchairs because of spinal cord injuries and all that related, all those related injuries. So what we're going to do in the first part of the study, we're going to look at whether there are changes to the anatomy when you're sitting and what those changes are. Because we know that people that spend a lot of time on wheelchairs tend to suffer from pressure ulcers. So those pressure ulcers, we want to see if when you have a lot of muscle coverage under there, are you most likely to develop those pressure ulcers, or even which type of seating is recommended for wheelchairs in the long term. When I came here, the mentor that I was connected with, this is part of a bigger project that she's doing, which is a collaboration between anatomy. She's a physiologist, but she's in the Department of Anatomy. So it's a collaboration between her department and engineering, mechanical engineering. So when I came, because this is a study that already had received IRB approval, she was like, I think this is something that you'll be interested in. And you're an anatomist, you can come with a different perspective and add some interesting twist to the whole thing, which is how I came on board, and then this is how this project happened. So it's been exciting so far. Currently busy pilot phases or pilot stages of the study to see what's gonna work, what's not gonna work, before we bring participants in. Because the idea is when you bring people in, you don't want to have those small little kinks still there. You want to just tweak it so that it's quick, it's smooth, and people who volunteer their time, you don't waste it. So that's what we're currently doing now. But we're hoping that by sometime this month, we'll start recruiting participants and then start testing the anatomy. So what we're doing is, it's twofold. There's a part where we do ultrasound imaging. So the ultrasound, we scan those different areas where pressure ulcers are most likely to develop, and then we look at the anatomy on ultrasound, and then we also do it in the MRI. And the idea is to mimic the same sitting position with both imaging modalities. Yeah. And then we'll send an email about this great opportunity with the links. And it was so if you're interested, please let us know. And I was like, oh, I need an escape. I feel very burned out after the PhD. And I honestly, previously, I didn't think I'd want to do a postdoc. But after I finished my PhD, I was like, I think this is possibly the next best step, because I need to find a way to get my research out there, but also get new ideas as well. Because after a while, you sort of hit a ceiling, especially when you're in the same environment for a long time. You know, I mean, there are only so many joints you can look at. And also with that, there are only so many ideas you can come up with without, especially because over time you need to start increasing your collaborators, because everybody comes with different perspectives. So I thought, okay, a postdoc for a year shouldn't be too bad. If I get approval from my head of department to go and I can bring my kids with, why not? Because most postdocs don't accommodate for your family, you know. And I thought this one is specifically structured for, Black females, which is me. I asked them if I could bring my kids with, and they said, yeah, that's what the program is for. And I was like, okay, and the period, like it's for 12 months. I'm like, 12 months is a good time to escape. And then they said, okay, if you're interested, just let us know. And that's why I applied for it. I thought, yeah, I'm open to adventures. What's the worst that could happen? So the first thing will be to look at the next phase of this research project, obviously. Hopefully, by the time I leave here, we would have published. If not, we'll hopefully be in the process of publishing our research outputs. So that will be the thing that I need to get out. And then also establishing the next phase of this research project. And then with that, it's also with my home institution mentor, it's right now it's a bit tricky to bring him on board, because most of the data collection happens here, and there's only so much that he can do remotely, you know. So when I get back home, obviously he'll be more involved in the next phase of the research project. So that will be the first thing that I think we should establish, and then see how this research project will carry on. What will also help me with is also just to apply for promotion, because that's something that I would now qualify for. So that's also a thing that I want to do, but also keep in touch with the collaborators that I would have met up on this side. And then in the second semester when I'm there, which will then be our first semester, January to July, the idea is to also get some of the research projects going. So I supervise a lot of students. So some of those collaborative projects that we'll speak about before I leave. Those topics I will then give them to my students when I get back home, and that's what we'll work on, so that this collaborative project and these collaborations are ongoing for a long period. So I think, yeah, it's to, and then also incorporate quite a lot of what I've learned, a lot of imaging into my lecturing and my teaching. And I will try, the thing that I want to try and do as well is also to try and get some kind of funding. So write a grant proposal to get proper ultrasound at home, so that that ultrasound imaging aspect of what I do becomes very established and it's an ongoing thing. Yeah. Okay, so far, the thing that I should actually mention, my mentor, Dr. Jill Slade, ever since I got here, she's just been on some throw yourself into everything, which is really, really, really amazing. So I've been here for 3 months and I've done so much, because the other day when we're doing the program plan and we're looking at what we've been able to achieve so far, it's actually a lot, because she was with the research, one of the research days that MSU had, she asked me to sign up as an adjudicator, which I did. So I got to listen to great presentations and be one of the judges, which was really great, because I do things like that back home. So it was like, oh, okay, this is a different perspective. This is interesting. And it also gives you research ideas as well, research topics to explore in the future. And the other thing that I also appreciated was she linked me up with the anatomy department. And they've been very kind as well. So I can go there when I have time, help out with whatever it is. If there's a practical or anything like that, I can just basically just get in and help the students, which is really nice. So because research, sometimes you just want to get away. You just want some student interaction. So that is also welcome. And she's also helped me with, because I've attended 2 conferences so far, which has also opened, it's conferences that are quite different from the kind of research I do. So that's also opened my mind to new things where you're like, oh, okay, actually I could have collaborations with this person and that person and that person. And with our ultrasound imaging, because that's also another thing that's very new for me. I've met a lot of potential collaborators, because with every time we'd get stuck, she'd be like, okay, maybe we should call this person and meet up with them, and then let's see what, because they're doing research in this way and research in that way, they focus in there. So it's been really, really great, So I think that what I bring, hopefully, is that a different way of looking at things, because I'm a clinical anatomist, so with her being a physiologist, the link and the merger has been quite beautiful, honestly, And I never thought that I'd have a collaborative research with somebody from physiology, but it's worked out really well. And I hope that with the few lectures that I'll give in the anatomy department, that there will be some knowledge that will be imparted to the students, because I will be giving I'll be helping out with one of the practical sessions next week, and then hopefully be giving some kind of anatomical variation lecture later in the future with some of the work that I do. So I hope that will be the addition that I give. And then also with my mentor, we've spoken about how we're going to continue this relationship as a long-term collaboration. So that is, I think, something that will benefit both of us, because she has a lot of great research ideas, and she has the resources. I have some of the resources, and I also have the students as well, the numbers on my side, So there is that linking and coming together, and then hopefully we'll make magic.